Hi, my name is Taylor DeMoss, and this is my third speech for Communications 101 on the topic effects of divorce on children. These are my note cards, so this is note card number 1, front and back, and then note card number 2, and then note card number 3. And then this is my audience. Okay. So imagine you wake up on Christmas morning and some of the most important people are in your life. Or maybe there's a big award at school or a big event in life like graduation, and you might only have one parent to celebrate with. Or holidays aren't even super special for you anymore because those memories might be tainted. Divorce can be a debilitating experience for everybody involved, especially the child. But it can affect the parents, teachers, mentors, everybody who is in that child's life. It's especially hard on children because it can affect them long term and throughout their life as they grow older. The effect of divorce can alter the social skills and connections of the child, but this can be mended through different social networking groups, such as sports, hobbies, and even just finding different volunteer groups and coping mechanisms to help that child as they grow older. So divorce definitely affects everybody involved. It can be long-term, so the number one thing to start with as the parent is to recognize any red flags, that being with not only the intimate relationship of the parents, but also other relationships and how you handle them. Specifically, if you're put into a negative situation or there's some sort of hardship, it's good to identify how that person is going to respond in times of stress or times of trauma and tragedy, so you can understand how to work things out better through communication. So recognizing red flags is the first thing to do. Of course, some situations can be inevitable, such as child abuse, and the number one thing to do is remove the child from that situation. It's also good to ask the child certain questions, like what they need to be hearing in the situation, things that they need to be aware of, and then also trying to identify things that maybe they don't need to hear at that time, depending on what age or stage group that they're in. And then also asking the child and the parent yourself what areas that you need to be showing up for them, because children need a lot of attention, and even if both the parents are separated, it's good to make sure that they're putting the child first and making sure that child is getting all the support and love and attention that they need. So once you can cooperate with your partner and find a consistent and quality routine, that support will help the child. And it's also good to identify things like what will help them cope. The number one thing that helps children and parents is finding some sort of hobby or activity that they're interested in. But first, identifying what age they're in is important. For example, ages 0 to 5 typically experience an inconsistent routine. You'll notice frequent irritability in children ages 0 to 5 and just a lack of routine. And then once they get to ages 5 to 7, you'll notice the typical signs of depression. They might have low energy, and then that same inconsistent routine would carry on throughout. In addition to that, ages 8 to 12, you'll notice the same typical signs of depression, but you'll also notice more anger and possible denial of the divorce, since they had the chance to kind of see how it was with the family, and then now they're old enough to recognize that their family is no longer that same unit. And then lastly, ages 12 to adult, they'll notice more of a lack of support, since this is the time frame where they're going through more life changes, whether that's finding what school, college, and then even later in life, trying to find the career they want. They'll notice more of a lack of support due to the separation of the parents. So like I said previously, identifying a good sport and hobby for the child is number one. This can create a safe space for the children. It can create a schedule and a routine. The University of Missouri Healthcare talks about physical exercise can teach the adolescents accountability, dedication, and leadership. So with sports, that can help them to develop new friendships, new connections. It can improve their mental health and even lower levels of anxiety and depression. It can help them connect to others their age, and ultimately is just the number one support system for children. And then the next thing that they can do is identify a volunteer group. Similar to sports, this is great for them to just continue that conversation of communication and meeting other people. It can help them to shape their mindset and develop skills further, like confidence building and, like we've been talking about, communication. It can spark their friendships and connections on the source for Center and Child Safe Divorce and Family Means. It also talks about how a structured routine can help with lowering levels of depression, anxiety, which both sports and volunteer groups go into. Another source that I found was Center for Child Safe Divorce and Family Means, which also talks about how children are more susceptible to illnesses due to mental health factors. So finding something with physical health, such as that sport or hobby can help lower those levels. Overall, divorce is very debilitating for the child, so trying to avoid it previously and finding a good relationship with somebody is very important, but obviously, like I said, some situations are unexpected and inevitable. So the number one thing is, if co-parenting is the option, always trying to put the child first, like I said, and just trying to give them all the attention and love, because most children do thrive 100% better with both parents in the situation. So to prevent divorce and lessen the trauma and traumatic situation they were put in, we can help do these things, such as putting children in their sports, putting them in volunteer groups, and finding some sort of network system to help them cope throughout the whole situation. Thank you.
Ooh.